Okay, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us for this marketing presentation hosted by Frame Destination. Um, I want to really thank all of our customers, Frame Destination customers, and this is also, we've also invited Red River customers to join us, and so thank you, and also a number of affiliates of both Frame Destination and Red River. So appreciate all of you being here and helping to make this happen. It's going to be your questions and your input are going to be what drive this. So we're really grateful for your co-creation in this with us. Um, as I said, I'm Mark Rogers, owner of Frame Destination, or co-owner. And one brief note, this is being recorded and we are going to publish this on YouTube. Your video, if you ask a question, your video will not be enabled. So you don't have to worry about your video showing up. It will only be your audio for the question, but you can also type in your question if you don't want your audio to be recorded either. And so I think that's my part. And I want to introduce Jolie Rogers. She's my wife and co-owner of Frame Destination. And go ahead, Jolie. Oh,
Hi.
wait, I'm sorry. Actually, it's this is the first time ever doing this. So let me introduce Drew of Red River Paper first. And we have a lot of Red River customers joining us on this too. So Drew, take it for a moment.
Where am I going to take it, Mark? Just kidding. So, Mark, thanks for inviting me into your virtual living room. I'm Drew. I'm the owner of Red River Paper, and glad that everybody is here today. I'm sure if you don't know who we are, we make photographic and fine art inkjet paper. Been in business since 1997. And I took over the company in 2017. So I've got a few years under my belt as the boss. And but I've been here since 1997 as well. So I'm on my 27th year in this industry. So I have been there and done that. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here. And I can't stay for the entire event. Got a few people out sick today, so it's all hands on deck to get some stuff done. But I appreciate it. And of course, as with anything, we're a very open company. We enjoy interacting with people who are customers and people who are even not customers if they have questions. My phone number is published on the internet. My email address is as well. And if you have questions about our products, if you have questions about printing and you want to learn more, just feel free to contact us. We're happy to talk.
Thank you, Drew. And okay, Jolie.
Hello, I'm Jolie Rogers. I'm the co-owner of Frame Destination. I met Jonathan via an event his company Aspire Marketing and Create Appalachia put on called Mocktails and Marketing Kits this past September at the William King Museum of Art in Abington, Virginia. Lovely museum if you ever get up there. I've been an artist all of my life, as you can see from the disaster that is my studio behind us, constantly working. However, I only found the time, and I blame that on Frame Destination, lovingly, to start selling it this past year. Jonathan's presentation at that marketing event on how to create a basic kit for artists impressed both myself and Mark, who attended it with me. So we wanted to share it with you all because, as artists, I mean, what I do is my passion is making the art. Selling it has been very interesting, and I need all the help I can get with that. And Jonathan has got some really great advice. So I'm grateful that he agreed to do this presentation today, and I believe you will really enjoy it and find it helpful. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan from Aspire.
Hey everyone, we have a really good number of participants here, so I'm excited to do this and get started today, and offer some marketing advice to people who you know all walks of life, all different things, all geographically located here. Mark, just one question. Normally when I do this, the people will be able to pop in and talk to me back and forth. Is it going to be just us panelists and we're answering questions? Or are people going to be able to pop in and out with this Zoom here?
We can unmute people
Okay.
and we can invite them. We invite attendees that raise their hand
Okay.
to, yeah, we can allow them to talk. Once they, under the attendee list, there's the allow to talk button.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna use that here quite a bit. I do similar marketing workshops. Actually, digitally marketing.
Oh,
I do
real
a lot of
quick,
digital marketing workshops.
Jonathan,
Mhm.
yeah, for everybody, the raise your hand button should be at the bottom of the screen. I'm not sure on mobile. It may be on the side, but there should be a raise hand button somewhere so that you can let us know that you do want to ask a question.
Yep. Yeah. When I do these, I really want them to be. Oh, thank you. Somebody raised their hand, so we see that it works. I do appreciate that. I definitely want these to be interactive when we do these marketing workshops. If it is me just talking to you about words like SEO and marketing strategy and brand for 2 hours, we'd all go crazy. None of us would enjoy it. So my hope with this, we'll go into a little intro, and then whoever is comfortable asking their question, I have your list that you all submitted when you registered, and have some topics highlighted. A lot of people are asking similar things, so I grouped them. But really, this is your time to ask me marketing questions, understand a little bit more about your industry, what questions can get answered. Because I am all over the place with marketing. I started my company Aspire with a co-owner in 2019. We honestly hit our stride really during COVID when every company that was not digital needed to be digital in about a month. We really spun up a lot of our services there, and have been working in a lot of different facets of marketing for the past 5 years here. I have about 10 years of experience with marketing. I worked in agencies post college for a few years. I went in-house between working in an agency and owning my own for a little bit. And it's been a great journey with marketing. We work all across different industries. I know today we'll be talking a lot about creative arts, but at Aspire, we say we're completely industry agnostic in terms of what we do for marketing. A lot of our customers are in construction and contracting. We work with a lot of local, county, and state organizations. And then on the production side, it's the photo video production is everything from a mom and pop boutique to like national media companies, USA Today and stuff like that we've shot for. So really run the gambit between what we do. My mantra with marketing is I really want to help you all, everybody on this chat right now, to build sustainable marketing strategies, because it's really easy. A lot of these questions that you all have posed are, how do I get consistent on social media? What do I need to post? How do I build a website? What can I do for SEO? It's really easy to decide to do something, and I'm going to post on social media 3 times a week and build content and do this stuff that doesn't feel part of my business. It's really easy to do that for 3 months. I build marketing strategies well beyond that 3-month mark. I'm thinking at least a year out, and I really want to build businesses that sustain for 5-10 years when I do it. And that comes out to building strategies that are actually sustainable for you, not allowing yourself to do too much in marketing and end up burning out, which is what people do. You have a craft, and like Jolie was saying, it's hard to find the time to do these marketing things, to be out selling your wares. And I want to help understand where to put your time, and also what works and what you can kind of free yourself up from caring about or doing in this marketing world. Because if you look online, there's endless advice, and a lot of it either doesn't pertain to your situation or doesn't pertain to a small business. So I want to be able to clear up a little bit of that today. I will say it's really exciting to work. All of you are in some type of creative field. I got into marketing because I was doing photography and writing from like the as a teenager. I started doing commercial photography, shooting for taking like branding photos for doctors' offices and massage studios and stuff like that as a teenager because that was what made money as a photographer. And I think being a commercial photographer, the niche I found is, you know, do the commercial work, do the boring stuff, do the things that a normal photographer is not willing to do. And I've, built a marketing company somewhat by, doing the content piece, doing the photography, videography, all like that, where an attorney might find us and say, I can't be on video. And I'll tell them, yes, you can. Uh, you know, your story, your information is just as exciting as somebody who does something flashy and exciting in front of the scenes when a lot of things are behind the scenes. So I do come at this. I'm a photographer. I've been at it a long time. That's what I've been doing the longest. I do a ton of different things. Again, agnostic of what we do. I'm, day-to-day commercial photographer, but I do some weddings. I do some family photos. I do all kinds of things on the side. So of this main agency here. So I'm excited to get entrenched with you all here for a couple hours and answer your questions and understand what you can do. So I'll answer a couple of the start from the list questions, and then if some people can either input questions into the Q&A section or raise their hand, and we'll let you guys ask a question live to me. And then we'll get started on the live Q&A here. Like I said, when I do this across digital marketing Zoom workshops, it works way better if I can understand what you all need, and on a sort of one-to-one basis with an audience is usually the best way I operate. And a big caveat here is everything I say today, please don't take it as set in stone for you. I'm not telling, even to the person I'm talking to, I only am going to get a very short glimpse of your business, yourself, your brand, what you sell. Most marketing advice works really well when I can do the research and get to know you and at least be one-to-one, which is why I like to do that interaction. If it doesn't feel right for you, that is probably the answer for you and your brand. If what I say, you're like, no, that wouldn't resonate for me, it's because I'm giving advice to a different audience, or my advice doesn't work for you. So I'm happy to speak one-to-one with people, at a later date. If any of this does resonate, that's kind of how Mark and Jolie and I have got to talking here. But make sure that, I am an expert in what I do, but I don't want to be an expert for your business and say that it's my way or the highway, or that I know in this 30-second interaction that I'm going to, tell you something that's better than other things you're thinking. So get those Q&As in, and raise your hand on attendees. I promise talking is not scary, and we'll get this going here. And I'll start with some of the questions that were given. I'm going to touch on 3 major points somewhere in this. We're going to talk about social media in general, SEO, which is an acronym. Make sure we define it. Make sure everybody knows what SEO is, what SEO isn't, and how things have changed. Because the SEO we were doing 5 years ago, it doesn't really apply anymore. A lot has changed in the industry, especially on the small business side, and we've had to pivot. And then on just the branding, just some understanding of marketing and understanding of, where to put your time and all like that. I received a lot of questions, a whole bunch, from you all about social media. The questions were mostly around things like what platforms do I need social media? Somebody asked a really good question. Let me find that one. Somebody asked the question, do I even need social media in 2024? I think that Angela asked that. Sorry. What social media platforms are best for 2024? And then Tiff Holmes asked, What are the most effective ways to market without social media in 2024? One of my spiels is a business can sustain themselves without social media in 2024, just like we've sustained ourselves, um, for decades. Social media is a great way, though, to accelerate that process. I don't personally like the big social medias, so the Facebooks and Instagrams and all like that. I don't use them personally very much. I think they're, a way to breed contention, and whatever message is going to get a rise out of someone, is going to be the message that's out there. But don't forget about the fact that social media can increase your reach and really help you out. But I think you can market without social media in 2024. That was one of the first questions I really loved when people ask, and I ask that I get asked that all the time. If you want to be going to events and going to trade shows and interacting one-to-one with customers at a storefront and building that email list, email lists are awesome. I really love the blog, love what we can do, and love what that can be done for photography. If you want to not use social media, you can absolutely do it, but it's going to take a lot more time in terms of that one-to-one interaction, building your brand face to face. So if you're that person that likes to be out there being a salesperson, it's great. But if you like it to be in the background, which is, I kind of like to do both. Social media doesn't have to be a big scary thing. It doesn't have to be something you're on all the time. So that was one of my really good starts, and on from there. Margie is the first brave soul on here to put their hand up. Margie, can you ask your question and we'll live Q&A this?
Can you hear me?
I can, yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. I am an artist and illustrator, fine artist, and I am in a late career actually, but I'm still doing it. And I am embarking on whether I should change up my website. My
Okay.
website has been not stagnant, just not, no e-commerce going through my website. Does that make sense? I don't sell through my website right now. So I'm
Okay.
wondering if in fact I should be doing that when I redesign my website.
Can you tell me the name of your website,
Yes.
what you sell, where you are located, and who you see your audience, who is your audience that you sell to now?
Okay. My audience for the most part are regional and local people. Even though I've been selling art for over 40 years,
Okay.
look, internationally through, higher exhibitions, national exhibitions,
Okay.
NOPES, which is National Oil Painters, National Oil and Acrylic Painters Society, National Association of Women Artists. I sell like that, but I also am in a shop in a design center. So I have access to wonderful customers and clients who come in, for pretty furniture or decor, and they come and see me from time to time.
Cool.
My website is margieflorini.com, and I also own florinifinearts.com.
Okay.
Am I talking too fast?
No, you're perfect.
Okay, thank you.
So let me just make sure I know your question. Your question is, you are currently selling, you go to shows, you have a presence in a storefront, and you're wondering, is e-commerce something you should pursue? Is it something worth it to you? Is that the question?
That's correct. And I'm asking to a better way to reach people through my website. Now, maybe you say to yourself, websites are old fashioned, but I still get customers through my website.
For the 51 people here right now, websites, 100% not old fashioned. Long term, I see Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Threads and all of those things losing prominence. A website is not going to go out of date. They may change how they look, they may change how they function, but a website is going to be the thing that will sustain over time. Margie, I guess the question for e-commerce is, if you reach your customers and end up selling directly, so they add to cart and you get an email, and then you're going to be, you know, until some scale, you're going to be probably doing the fulfillment and doing the shipping of your product. Is that more exciting to you than doing what you're doing now?
Oh, good question. Um, Not necessarily, but what I have understood from other people who own businesses, it's nice to make money while you sleep. And so if people are reaching me because they want to buy a book or a print through my website, then that's, you know, reaching me while I'm sleeping.
It is, and I think that's completely fair. Going down that rabbit hole, when you set up the e-commerce store, one, your overhead will increase. There will be a monthly fee, whether you use Squarespace or Shopify or WooCommerce or whatever you're doing. Unless you literally just put on and, you know, for commissions or for inquiries, email me on your website. And then you can do that kind of transaction over email or phone if people find you. If you're setting up any kind of e-commerce shop, so your overhead will go up naturally because you're buying services. It also, you know, when you fulfill that, you do lose some amount of that customer interaction. So if you're at an event and somebody buys a painting from you, they're making a connection with the artist, which I think everybody here that sells anything creatively, people are buying the art, but they're also buying from the artist, and that's really important. And you kind of lose that connection. So just making sure that it does it. So imagine yourself, if this thing works and you're going to sell some amount, like, let's just say, you know, 1 or 2 transactions a day, where you're going to get that email and then you're going to have to do the work to fulfill and ship and all like that. Just before you embark on that, make sure that that's exciting and interesting enough to you to feel like you made that. If you're like, no, I think I'd rather be, you know, face to face with people, keep that website, keep all that going, but make that the thing that creates brand affinity. And by brand affinity, that's just a marketing term. That's why people want to work with you. Create hype online for your work, and then show people how they can get it. You know, if they can get it on a trade show, or if they can get it at the storefront that you're a part of, or if they want to commission something or get something directly from you, just give them the email address or a phone number for you. And, you know, if you're not worried about like volume, and turning out a ton, e-commerce might not be the right move. But if it is, you know, go into it and go into it knowing that you want to, you know, do enough to make those extra headaches worth it, basically.
What a wonderful, wonderful answer you just gave me. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you have certainly made it clear in my mind what it is I love to do, as you
Yeah.
said, meeting people face to face, all of that. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for that clear answer.
Sweet. Yeah, just on the personal basis, like I've sold prints before online. They sell. It's mostly like landscapes of local stuff around here that I just had. I was like, if I have 10 pictures, why not set it up to sell? And I sold it. But to me, on the art side, like commercial photography to me is not artistry. I'm bringing a doctor's office alive when I do commercial photography. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
On the personal side of artistry here, I want to be a on the art side. Like the farthest I want to go with that is I want to be a family photographer for people I know who I'm going to shoot their, you know, their first baby pictures, and then I'm going to be there on the 3rd birthday, and then their first t-ball game, and like keep doing family photos for a long time. So to me, selling prints like was mostly soulless. I was like, I'm only selling these because I just have them and I feel like I should make money on them, which like I made a little bit, but it just to me wasn't the soul of what I wanted to do. So I don't, I play on e-commerce for clients, but I don't do it personally, and I don't find joy in it.
Cool.
Cool.
Great. Thank you.
Who else? We have a bunch of people. Who else has a question? Raise their hand, and we can get them in here. Cool. We are going to go back to the sheet of people asking questions. I think the e-commerce question is a really good one. A lot of people asked about how to sell and how to price and all like that. And how to just get started with that. So one really important thing when we talk about e-commerce or selling or making a website is remembering that when you make a website, however you want to do that, we have a couple questions about how do I even get started building a website? How do I do it in a low cost way? Creating a website, getting it great for that first time, and then opening the store, making sure the store works, all like that. It's really, really important to know that that's kind of like step one. And a lot of people get stuck in this. They do a ton of work at the front end to get their website built, and then they set it and forget it and wonder why they don't have sales. Free yourself from the SEO side, the search engine optimization. When you are a small business, you can tend to make way better headway on digital marketing by using social media to direct people to your website, not worrying about appearing on search for the first 6-12 months of your when your website's been launched. Making sure that when you make that website, let your friends and family know, start posting on Facebook, start building that email list, and make sure you have a subscribe button on your website so people, if they like your work, can subscribe to your email. And if you start getting any traction on email list, if you have 10 people on your email list, you should be sending emails to those people because they said, I'm interested enough to put my email in and get that information. And email, this was again a lot of questions. We had a lot of questions about email marketing. Email marketing is more powerful than social media, mostly. Social media can get broader, but your email list is way, way, way more likely to make direct sales. So if you have an email list, and I'm talking like 10, 20, 30 people, then that's when you start thinking about email strategy, because those, 30 people can become a couple hundred by just sending emails and just sending emails all like that. So, that was one of the things I wanted to bring up today is website is step one, and then pointing in a dozen different ways to your website. SEO is one of them, not all of them. Let me. Sweet. Raised hand. And are you able to, Imara, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, are you able to talk? And I think you're muted. Imara, you should have permission to talk. Mark just gave you access. We can also circle back to you if you're having technical problems. In the meantime, Renee Reed, are you able to raise your hand and ask your question? Sweet. We'll get you, Renee, we'll get you here in a second.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
I was just wondering, just picking back off the email marketing part and your emphasis on that. Just wondering if you have a recommended cadence, like maybe a tier, maybe the minimum versus the ideal
Okay.
for artists.
Everybody that I talk to you on here, I'm going to ask, the same. I want to get some
Oh.
contextual information, so I'm not giving you a terrible answer.
Sure.
Can you tell me about your business, where you are located, and what you do?
Okay, sure. All right. So I am located in McKinney, Texas, just outside of Dallas. I recently launched my e-commerce website, which has my original artwork, art prints, greeting cards, currently up for sale. I have an email list, about 92 people, pretty small. I did a pre-launch, and during the pre-launch, my sales were since my pre-launch, which was just last month, my sales have been from my email list. I think what else? My goal, just based on your previous discussion on e-commerce, is truly to make sales online really large in the scope of where I can sell. My current collection is actually based on a trip I took to Mallorca, Spain. So I do want to ultimately open myself to international market, as that's a destination for a lot of Europeans. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And my site literally just launched publicly 2 weeks ago.
Sweet. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I just, again, for the 50 people we have on here, you said like your email list is super small, it's 92.
Yeah.
That is not small. Don't think about the power if a third of those people made a transaction in the next week. That'd be great. Like 30 more transactions. And that's not a crazy, that's not a crazy number. And think about what the power of reaching 92 people. In email marketing, we think about open rates and hovering somewhere 40 to 60%, 50 in the middle. Think about that every time you send an email, you have a chance to reach half those people. You have a chance to reach 50 people every time you send an email. Just mindset wise. And I'm glad you said like your sales came off that email list, because email people care about you. The people on your list care. What platform are you using?
Shopify
Perfect. We love Shopify.
with Klaviyo as the email marketing
Cool.
provider.
Cool. Yeah, Shopify is a good one. As a cadence, whatever. So again, back to sustainable marketing. I want you to give me an answer on what feels like not a stretch for you to do. So I don't want to tell you like you send an email every week, you do it for 3 weeks and you burn out, because that's too much. For me personally, I am starting up a new blog. I wrote for years and years. That's my college, professional and technical writing was my college education. I wrote for a long time and published some places. And then I kind of got busy, distracted from it. Me personally, I'm trying to write on a personal basis on a once a week cadence. So I spend early Friday mornings trying to get something out for my email list. And it's been phenomenal doing that way. I have on this first one, I have fewer than 92 on there. I'm thinking about like 50 some email list. And it's not work focused, although I have already gotten work off of it just by people being like, oh, I like that perspective. What can you do here? When I said once a week, does once a week seem scary? Or is that like, oh, I could totally do once a week. That's not bad.
I think I probably could. I think the challenge now is to, I don't know, maybe reframe how I think about these emails. So maybe my next question as you were speaking was thinking, what is your word count? What are you sharing once a week? How long is it? Is it more short form? Or I think I could tackle something if I make it very specific topics, and then also maybe alternate between more of the behind the scenes, more about the art, more about me one week versus what's going on in the shop a different week. Kind of like, I don't want to always sell. I want to make it more of a community and a connection.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just going to jump in so we keep this thing flowing. Sam, we are going to have your question next. You're next in my queue here. So topics, you do not need to be long form in your email. Remember that people are busy. People are not going to read much, like, unless it's super engaging and you're like, if you're 150% excited, people might be excited about what you have to say. When I am coaching people on starting with email marketing, if I can get 150 or 200 total words out of you for that email, that's awesome. This is, you do not need to be writing 500 words, 1,000 words that people are not going to see. If you post like a, you know, this is me, this is Renee, and this is why I'm doing it, email to that group. If you haven't done that yet, that buys you a week. I love the shop idea. And don't just think about what you can say about yourself in an email. If you don't have something to say, highlight another person that you like to work with. You know, Mark's doing a great job with this, where it's Mark and Red River Paper. You know,
Got
you
it.
are collaborating, you're building this giant community, which is really cool. And that's one of the reasons I've enjoyed meeting Mark. You know, make one of your weekly emails highlighting an artist, another artist you enjoy, and link to her stuff and whatever, you know, like that. Build up the community and build up the collaboration. And like you said, maybe one out of every half dozen times be salesy. It confuses people in a marketing perspective to put ads or put emails out where you don't have a call to action, you don't have something to sell. It kind of like takes it gives you the power be like, no, I'm just, you know, I'm here to, you know, build this community. I'm here to talk about what I do. You know, if you want to find a way to buy something, find a way, but I'm not going to be overtly salesy every time. So if a week, I would pick whatever cadence you can pick, whether that's a week, every 2 weeks. I would kind of say a minimum to grow, shoot for twice a month. Once a month might be okay, but you know, that's just not that much. People are gonna tune in and out. If you can do something once every 2 weeks or once every week, getting it out, you'll see that list grow and you'll see what your audience does with the information you put out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Sam, are you able to jump on?
Hello, can you hear
Hey.
me?
Yep.
Awesome. So my question is kind of like a two-parter, um, involving the emails. So like, how do you even get email people? And how exactly does sending the emails every week make it grow?
Okay.
And then is there a relationship with SEO? Because I get tons of people emailing me in my business email about SEO and asking, can I do your SEO? And I'm like, is it even worth it? And like, can I do it myself? Or, you know,
Yep. Yep.
I'm a big person doing everything myself.
Yeah. I'm probably going to tell you to DIY just to tell you before I dive in. But as everybody else has, can you tell us about your business? Give us a little information about what you do and where you are.
Yes, my name is Sammy Zambazis. I am an artist. I am in Canada. I do custom art for people, but I also sell original work in galleries and online, and I've won a few awards for competitions and um, news appearances and all that stuff. So, and I just kind of I sell so many different kinds of art. So fine art, like realism, digital art, as well as I do resin work and I make candles with resin in it and all that stuff. So
Cool.
just kind of a mix of everything, something for everyone.
You don't have to tell me any specifics, but do you feel like you're selling a volume that you're like, I'm getting sales already and this thing is growing?
Yeah, I have I mean I just started a project for a condo company. I just recently in a gallery sold my top artwork for over 2,000.
Sweet. I cannot
And,
imagine what it's like.
it's
So
pretty cool. I don't know, it was a really cool feeling to know somebody wants your stuff that much to put in their home, in your home, you know. But other than that, yeah, I sell a lot of stuff through Facebook, like a lot of commissions through Facebook.
okay.
And I do art fairs and shows and I sell a lot of stuff there too. So it's kind of just like it's no specific spot where I notice I sell the most. It's kind of just spread out evenly, but I do have a website.
Cool. What's your website built on?
Wix and uh what do they use? They use, I can't remember what it is, but they use WordPress, I think.
Okay, cool.
And I built
And
it.
do you sell stuff? Do you have do you have an online store currently?
Yes.
Can I buy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you currently have an email list or do email marketing?
No, because I don't
Okay.
really know. Like like I
Okay.
said, I do so much like on Facebook. I get really personal with people there, and so I'm curious how email marketing would help.
Yep. So just holistically speaking, and I try to think holistically with marketing a whole lot. Um, email is probably one of the more personal, more, it's not one-to-one because I'm obviously putting it out to a bunch of people.
Mhm.
But email is going, into your inbox. It's a pretty personal, pretty intimate thing. So all these people you've sold to, like your commissions and the people that buy for their home, when you do that sale, when you have your point of sale, one way you could do that is most point of sales, whatever you're using, will give you the ability to give an email receipt, which also, if they can opt in, you have to be really careful because Canadian based has way more commerce rules about this
Yeah.
than we do in the US. But you don't need customers who have never bought from you to be on your email list. You need your
Mhm.
existing customers to, and again, look at your laws because I know even like reviews and testimonials on a Canadian basis are so much different than US based advice. That is your community, that is your audience that you want to be promoting. That's who you want to be talking to on your email list because they can become your repeats. They can become your repeat customers over time. They can refer
Right.
you to their friends. You are writing, like, think about email when you're at this point where I talk to people all the time that are like, they don't have revenue yet. They need to build an email list. You have people that love what you do.
Mhm.
Just ask them like, hey, I'm starting up an email list. I just want to talk about my art and talk about why I love it and let people know more about it. You'll be surprised to know how many people will sign up for something like that. Don't think
So
of
I
it as
was
salesy. You are writing to your best friends. Like these are
right.
your work's best friends.
Okay. So I
Help.
was like thinking about doing a blog, but would
Yep.
email list?
So I use Substack.
Okay.
For my personal stuff. I also really like it. Look into it. Also Substack and then Ghost are competitors. They both do similar things. Um, when I create a post on Substack and send it out to my email list, it creates a blog post on my Substack account. So I'm getting both in there. And for SEO purposes, I can tell you, I've been operating a run club with Substack for years now. That was my first foray into it. And SEO gains wise, we do really well where if people are looking for a run club I live in super small town, in the Southeast US in Virginia, in a little place called Christiansburg. We rank really well through that newsletter, through that Substack. If people are looking for run clubs near me, I'm really nerdy with the data, but that is working. It goes directly to our Substack. I actually don't have a website for that yet. It's on my list, and my list is forever. So SEO gains with something like Substack or Ghost, and you can also whatever you send out to your email list becomes a blog post.
That's a
So
good
there
idea.
are some options for stuff like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And you can include links to like Wix to your e-commerce from there. You can
Right.
also paywall it. So if you want to send something to people who are willing to spend $5, $10, $20 a month, you can do stuff like that too.
Yeah, I was considering doing subscriptions and stuff.
Yeah. I would look into both Substack and Ghost. They're direct competitors and do very similar things. Substack is a little easier. I really like it. I think it's just clean, simple design. It makes me want to write instead of deal with optimizing a
The back
website.
end.
And I think Ghost is just a little bit more optimization.
Okay, yeah, I like the easy because I'm currently in school as well, and so trying to balance everything, I like easy.
Yeah, I think Substack might be a really good option for you. I love it.
I'll look into it. Thank you.
Yep. Looks like I have a Q&A here. Aaron and Ardley Simon, are you able to raise your hand and ask your question? We also have Imara's raised hands. Are you able to? Oh, sweet. Gotcha. 1 second. Oh, I gotcha. Cool. I'm going to read your question here, and then we'll go. You're at work, so I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in at work to this thing. So, Anonymous asked, my wife and I are brand ambassadors with Red River Paper. I was wondering what's one way we can get more people to buy paper through us. We do the advertising with links to products, but we notice no sales are being made. Is there any more we can do to try to make sure they keep coming back? Affiliate links are affiliate links are a tough place to play in this world. So by definition for affiliate links, you need to be making a decent amount of volume, a decent amount of sales off that. So a lot of people need to be clicking and buying from Red River Paper. I would, and this is making a lot of leaps to not knowing exactly what you are doing, but I'm going to assume that as brand ambassadors, you are doing a craft, putting it on Red River Paper, looks really vibrant, looks really great, and then empowering people to buy those. Talking about the craft behind that, talking about what it is, would probably be the best way to start with that. But you can't make sales on an affiliate basis by just saying like, I print on this paper, buy now. Not going to work. You need to be thinking about telling a story about why someone would want to use this paper. Why do you choose it? Why is it better for you than the competitor's options? In effect, you are going to be giving, and I don't, again, US based advice because testimonials are weird in Canadian commerce. So if you're US, take this, and if you're Canadian, look into laws. But you need to be in effect giving a shining, lovely testimonial for that product, and then giving people a way to buy, not just saying it's available. I hope that makes sense. But basically, think about why you use Red River Paper, and then tell a story using what you do to tell you have to sell the product to them in that way. Is there a way I can see if that worked for you? I'm not sure I'm capable of, I don't know with the chat if I'm able to see, but if that didn't answer your question, please, reach out to me. I'm happy to get more on there. Got one more in Q&A. Cool. Elaine, I'll get to yours next. This is great. If you guys have any questions at all, remember that everybody here, if you ask the questions, there's going to be 10 other people with the same question. They just haven't asked it yet. So keep these going. Generally, like, this is how things go. It starts to rattle off as we go. And I'm here for the next 70 minutes. So I like where we're going with this. Terrence asked, do you need a custom website, or is Squarespace or Wix a place to start? So I build for the agency for small businesses. I build on Squarespace for a lot of people. You do not need like a custom coded spending a ton of money on a site to get it. Squarespace, and I don't use Wix personally. I've I've built a couple with it. I've definitely helped people answer questions. I just personally don't like Wix as well, as Squarespace, but Squarespace, Wix, Webflow, all of those are great options, honestly, for a small business. And Squarespace, especially Shopify, or building a WordPress site with WooCommerce. All of those are really good avenues to go about to build your website. No, starting with Squarespace or Wix, I would go Squarespace just because I know it better. It's a great place to start. And oftentimes, like if you're selling there and making the revenue you want to, and your margins are okay and the costs are okay, you may never need to switch off of something like Squarespace. Like I said, I build them all day long across a bunch of industries. I really like Squarespace for what it is, and I do a lot with it. Mark, let me know, and I don't want to go too far down and not let Amara ask your question. Your hand is raised. Are you able to ask yours? And Amara, I think you just have to unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Absolutely. I'm sorry for the delay.
That's okay. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties before. So I'm at the beginning stages of starting my business, and I'm kind of like, I think it was Jolie on the call. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. But I'm at the beginning stages and I have a lot of art already. It's digital. I just kind of got into graphic design, but I'm wanting to put it into print. And so right now I'm uncertain as to whether I should do a website with e-commerce or do a website, if it's possible to do a website without having the e-commerce. So how do I go about doing something like that?
So you can have a website without e-commerce all day long. You don't
Yes,
need it.
okay.
If you want to literally have somebody sell directly, like fill out their card information and you get an email that says like you need to ship this to Indiana, I don't wherever that state just popped in my head. That's where you would want e-commerce, which does raise your overhead, all like that. So you can absolutely have a website without it. You just aren't going to make direct sales, like fill out the card and then fulfill and ship something that way, without the e-commerce element. There's also a middle ground, and there's a ton of companies, and Mark might know more about this stuff too, but there's a lot of fulfillment companies where you upload the file for it, and if somebody buys a print, then they can buy they can buy, and then the company will print and fulfill.
Okay.
Yeah, Jolie, jump in on print on demand. Does that help you, Amara, if we talk about that?
Yeah, I guess my question was more like, what specifics, what would it look like if I were to not have the e-commerce and just have the website and be fulfilling? Because I actually enjoy the fulfillment part.
Cool.
I'm just not sure about whether it should be e-commerce or not.
So if you are
Amara?
going,
I just wanted
Yes.
to jump in real quick because I've done a couple of print on demand companies because I don't like the fulfillment. We have a small post office here in the mountains and it's a little tricky for me to do it. So I have checked out Fine Art America, Society 6, and Zazzle. Those are the main three I have played with, and all of them produce excellent products. You can put your art on anything. I just did it on prints. Mark could print my work here, but I don't want to constantly, I didn't want to keep bothering him with that. So I played with all of those companies. The work was excellent. I got great reviews from customers. The only problem with that is you've got to be really on top of your marketing. You've got to have a marketing channel where you can keep promoting, hey, go here, buy my work, here's the link. And you're going to have to mark it up enough to get beyond what they take for commission. So that's something to think about. They're very helpful. If you can make good margins on them, you don't have to fulfill it. You don't have to pack it. And they will even handle customer service. But
Right.
you got to get really good with your marketing if you want to make money on those. And there's one good course. If you Google, if you want to play with it a little bit, Zazzle, there's a course on how to sell on Zazzle. I can try and find the name of it and put it in the resources, but probably if you just Google that, and it's got specific information on how to work within a niche.
All right.
Which is how
Perfect.
you make money on places like that. So if you've got a graphic design background, I've got one too. That might be something, you can add to your stable of art. You can continue doing your fine art prints. You can do more commercial stuff and do it through the POD. So there's lots of different ways to make multiple income streams that way.
All right, great.
I
Thank you
hope
so
that
much.
helps.
Yes, that helps a lot. Thank you.
And then,
Okay.
Mario, the flip of that, you're saying, what does it look like if they can't fulfill, if they can't place an order and pay you online, because that's what the e-commerce element does. Were
Right.
you asking, like, if they want to buy my print and I physically hand it to them, what that looks like? Was that the flip of what you were asking?
Well, yeah, just how it would be like if I have a website and my prints are on, like, there's actual photos of the prints on there, but then I don't have the e-commerce part. Like, I guess if I don't have the e-commerce part, then I won't get notification on terms of that, a sale has been made and then it has to be
If you
fulfilled.
don't have the e-commerce set up, they won't even get to the point where they could make a sale.
Right. Okay.
But there are artists that do that really well. My tattoo artist actually does a lot of print stuff where he's posting his work and he's like,
Mhm.
come to the studio to buy it. And he's like, there's also a lot of personal touch when I know that if I buy a print from somebody, I'm going to a physical location. You don't have to have a brick and mortar, but if
Mhm.
you did something like a pop-up and you promote your art and then just say available at Saturday mornings at the farmer's
Right.
market. Me personally, the art on my walls is from artist friends of mine that may have not been friends of mine when I bought the art, but became them. And I'm like, I have like almost all of the photos on my wall are mine or my friend Nathan's, because I love Nathan's art from around here. And now I'm just his friend over the years. So I think that personal touch, if you do like the fulfillment part, and
do.
make it this personal experience. Like, if you really like this print, let me know. I will meet you, or if you would like, I can contact me at this email or contact me on this phone. You could send somebody, you'd have to set it up, but you have an invoicing system where you could charge somebody, on a more one-to-one email back and forth basis for that art. But just like Jolie said, if you're going that way and you want that personal touch, they need to pay for that personal experience
Of
that,
course.
you're doing a more bespoke thing than buying a print that a print on demand is going to sell. You are literally going to ship that out and make sure that your time is accounted for in that exchange, because they're paying for
Alright.
the experience of a one-on-one interaction with you, the artist.
Okay, awesome. That's
And
great.
Mara,
Thank you.
that's also where your newsletter list could come
Mhm.
into play.
Mhm.
I've got a lot of artist friends, and that's one way that they do marketing when they finish a new work or a new series. They will send out, not to be irritating, not daily, but
Mhm.
send out an email. Hey, this is what I have. I've just finished this, and talk a little bit about your work and how they could purchase it from you. So
All right.
that's a way to do it too.
Awesome. Thank you. That helps a lot. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
We now have a slew, and this is going to start going fast with questions. So buckle up. This is how it normally goes, though. We're going to go in the order right now. I'm just going to let people know. Elaine, Amanda, Francie, and David, if you would like to ask yours and have a little bit of one-to-one, so I can get more information, raise your hand in there and Mark will get it so you can start. But I'll start going through these and answer. And if you'd like, we'll get you out on here so I can ask specific stuff to you. Margie, did you have another question? Did you raise your hand again?
Hold on, sorry.
Are you
I
good?
I just bumped the button. I was trying to find the question and answer
Okay.
for the question, so I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't
no,
do that.
we just wanted to make sure you didn't have a follow-up.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Gonna jump to, oh wow, we are getting a bunch. This is great. Jumping to Elaine's question. Can you talk a little bit about Instagram? I have an account and want to start using it effectively as effectively as I can. I'm a photographer primarily focused on landscapes and show my work at a local gallery and various businesses. Again, my advice on specific platforms is not always applicable to everybody. And it also includes my own biases and seeing what what is working, what doesn't working in the industry that I can see. So this advice may be terrible for you. And with the participant stuff, if you want to jump in, Elaine, you did raise your hand and ask. Mark, can we get Elaine so she can answer? Because I don't want to give you terrible advice, but I'll tell you right now, I don't love Instagram for photography, at least.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about where you are, what your business is, and I think I'm locked in on my answer, but I want to make sure.
Okay. I have a website. It's more informational website. I don't really sell on that website. I just sell at local galleries and art shows and wineries. And I do my work on canvas and in print, and so I'm just a local girl. But
Cool.
I wanted to work on Instagram. I have a Facebook account, but what bothers me about Facebook is that people can just download my work,
Sure.
and it's all copyrighted. So,
Sure.
but that doesn't really offer me that much protection. So I thought maybe Instagram might be a better avenue for me to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
So
Um,
on Facebook, I don't put any of my work out on my Facebook account. I
okay.
just do pictures of my gallery walls and that I have exhibiting, so people know where they can go to find my work.
Okay. Lot of so I think Instagram has kind of had its heyday. The people that are doing great on Instagram will likely do great on Instagram, but gaining any traction on there, where as a landscape photographer, there's a lot, like, I'm sure in the time we've talked, there's been like 1,000 posts of landscape photography. It's such a saturated market, and it sounds like you are selling in galleries and selling at wineries and selling all like that. To me personally, selling like that has 10 times more soul than being online and trying to compete with a bunch of other people who are going to post flashy anywhere in the world landscape photography. It's also hard to interact, one-to-one with a customer on Instagram. So me, I would be remiss to tell you that if you started an Instagram right now, you would feel like you gained traction in a year of doing it, just because it's so saturated. And also, Instagram is getting significantly more and more video focused. So even just posting photos, the reach can be really bad. So if you don't have that audience already, it's tough. Also, with the downloading question, that image does exist as a JPEG on Instagram. You can actually, if you're on the desktop version, you can just find that link and steal the photos anyway. It's actually all on the same database because it's all Facebook, it's all Meta. Copyright wise, I can steal a photo from Instagram as easily as I can steal it from Facebook. So on that
Okay.
side of things, is also tough. I just, see what you can do and see how you can do it. If Instagram, you just enjoy it and want to do it. But it's not a platform that it's actually, I would say it's the platform I see losing ground the fastest as far as the major ones go.
Do you have a suggestion as an alternative?
I love Facebook. I do think Facebook works really well. I really liked what you were doing where you say you don't post like a picture, you're posting a picture of your gallery. I think that's really good. I think that's a really good tactic. There's just also a lot of, there's, despite what what marketers will tell you, data wise, there is all walks of life, all demographics, all age groups on Facebook, and there's more and more every day. Mostly by way that a lot of restaurants and a lot of information is only going out on Facebook. So people have to be on it, at least to some extent. And you can advertise really cheap on Facebook if you go that route. I would, you know, if you're going to do a social media platform, I really like Facebook. And back to that email marketing thing. Email marketing, 100% people can steal those photos. So, you know, utilize a watermark or whatever you need to for that. But I would, you know, I would lean Facebook, I would lean email marketing before I would do Instagram right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Again, I'm only one data point, so don't listen to me. Amanda, you raised your hand too. Do you mind asking your question?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. My main question, well, I guess first off, I'll say I'm a freelance designer and illustrator. A lot of my work is more character focused, a lot of cute animals and such. And I've been trying to build out my online shop, which I do enjoy creating small products for people. I've actually gotten a lot of in-person commentary that I should pursue it further. My main question is figuring out the email marketing. And when you brought up Substack, I was wondering about how do you still get people to keep going to your website if you are using a third party like Substack?
So you can always link to your website. So you can always put teasers. Like when I'm doing it, I will often link either to other blog posts that are my personal blog, or I'll link to my Aspire, the Team with Aspire website. So you can always encourage people to go that way. Substack specifically also lets you do custom link buttons. So I can make a custom button to go to my website. But also remembering that people are not likely to, the amount of people that open versus click is going to be really low. So think about, back to brand affinity, back to making people want to find a reason to work with you. Don't worry too much about building this funnel to get me to the website. Build brand affinity using your emails. Make people be like, I really like Amanda. I want to work with Amanda. I like what Amanda does. Amanda makes, you know, it's that we can talk creatively, because when I'm selling roofing or like other products that are not exciting, I can't say this, but like you have a chance with your illustration to make emotional connections where people feel good, or you know, we're Halloween, feel bad or spooky. You have a chance to make that emotional connection with people. Think about email marketing as a personal, intimate thing, not your main like buy this thing, because it's when you're not salesy, people find a way to work with you because you're, you know, you're doing it, doing it that way. You're doing it the right way.
All right. Thanks so much.
Cool. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because it definitely has been more about trying to funnel things, and it sounds like I just need to keep connecting with individuals and different people. So thanks a lot.
Yep, absolutely. I'll interject one real quick. The next two are Francie and Grace answering, but I think this will be a fun one for the recording at least. So Mark's marketing folks are also on here, and we're talking about Instagram. Instagram is definitely a top leading, you know, it can work great for people if you had traction on it a couple years ago. But if we're talking starting out Instagram now, you know, when you're starting out with very few followers on any platform, it's tough. And gaining traction on Instagram where it's so video focused. And if you're willing to do video, we can talk. All this is for video, but on the photo side, the reach numbers are terrible. Gaining that initial traction is so hard that it's not generally one I'm telling people to do, because the other ones, when I talk to small business owners, one thing that we have to do is speed. So when I work with a big company and they're contacting me a couple years out, where we're trying to build brand equity for, a 6, 12, 24 month timeline, we can talk a lot about things that are slower. But when I think about small businesses, I'm trying to build revenue in the door quickly. And Instagram is one of those that, you end up banging your head against the wall for very small reach, where you can switch to something like, I really love emails, or I really love, websites and blogging and all like that. It's a big world. But Instagram, the numbers for small business are getting worse and worse and worse, where even something like Facebook is getting better and better. Yeah, I'm not a big Instagram person. And it's also interesting, like industry wise, I hear a lot of people hating Instagram too, just because the reach, if it's good, it's good, but most people don't end up getting great reach on Instagram. So I think that'll be fun if anybody watches the recording and goes back with that. With marketing, there's no right or wrong answer, and everything it depends. It's always interesting to see what different takes are. Francie, do you want to raise your hand and ask your question? I think you're in here.
Okay, so I'm a very busy person. I'm taking care of my 93-year-old father, among other things. So I really need the e-commerce to work.
Okay.
I just built a pretty nice looking website on Squarespace. However, unbelievably, even though I said what I wanted was e-commerce, the guy didn't know how to handle the shopping cart and I've been stalled for 3 months. So my question is, since this is a webinar with lots of other people, could you help me fix the damn thing? It's stuck on shipping because I can't just do free shipping because I'm going to be shipping framed art, which is heavy and can cost hundreds of dollars if it's going far. And I also have stuff that doesn't cost very much. I'm fine to give them free shipping, but Squarespace doesn't like you to handle it 2 different ways. And so I'd like to know if you've had any success with the shipping zones issue, and if you think you could unscramble it. And if you don't, if you could privately maybe shoot me an email with somebody that could, I'm really desperate. And then my question that would help other people is I used to do a lot of web design personally, but the industry completely changed. And as I said, I'm so busy. So I don't know how to do SEO right now. But even though connecting in person is great, I can't always get out of the house. So and I'm older than probably a lot of the people on this site in this webinar. Not finished by any means, but though instead of what you expect, like on the Flintstones, you see him in the hammock, it's actually you get busier with age, not less busy, because you get responsibilities you cannot throw overboard. So I need the e-commerce to work. Some of my work is the kind of thing that does have a mass market appeal. I don't really have any revenue right now. Every once in a while, somebody buys at a show if I manage to get there. I'm getting better reviews than ever before. But if you were to try to buy on my website right now, you would fail. So that's my one question. But SEO, what do you think? There must be there must be best practices for SEO. It used to be that you had to write a bunch of really good keywords and make sure they were there. I'm hearing that doesn't matter anymore. I have no idea and I don't have time to reinvent the wheel on this. So could you tell me what you know about it?
Sure. And the next question is also about SEO. So on the Squarespace fulfillment side, I can give you a quick answer. It's not something I tend to like jump in and do and like troubleshoot, but I do have a person that is really good at it. If you find me on LinkedIn or email or whatever, we can make that connection.
Thank you. Thank you.
But so in Squarespace, and this might help somebody else. Often if you set up an e-commerce store and don't do that, you get to the cart and then the buy now button doesn't actually exist, which is probably what people are having problems with right now. The person that built your website can go through product by product and indicate different shipping options for them. I actually just had that I was selling a sports equipment item, and it's big and it's heavy. But if you're located anywhere close to him, he would rather deliver it in a truck to you versus the very significant, like you are, because of weight shipping costs. And you can, by product, you can have free shipping on certain things, and then change it up. You can also make just very inexpensive shipping for close places. But that is all in fulfillment settings in Squarespace. There is absolutely a way to do that. You just got to find a person.
Right. So,
Okay.
so you know of someone that was able to do wildly different prices on shipping,
Yes.
like you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah, that
Because
should.
my problem sounds different, but it's really similar in terms of what you would do about it. And,
Yes.
okay, so that's good to hear. So I will contact you
And-
privately for your referral.
And you have the same problem, like when they try to buy, it does not have the options to really get through that whole cart payment shipping.
I don't think anyone can buy right now because none of the shipping is solved.
Yep.
And
That's
so
the standard
how
Squarespace.
could it work? How could it work?
Yeah.
And also like, the person a couple people ago, most of the people that want to buy are people that have seen me. Also, you can't tell, but I'm a little unusual in appearance. I'm extremely tall, so people get interested. Like you said, you want the personal connection. They're like, "Oh, that giant at the art fair. Let's get in touch with her." Okay, so you know someone that could unscramble that. That's fantastic. Now, SEO, what should we be doing?
Let me see what the other SEO question was here.
Because I am sure that nothing is not the answer. And that's the ridiculous answer I got from my developer.
Okay. Yeah. Web development's its own world. It is people have interesting answers.
Yes, they
So
do.
you asked about SEO, and so did David, which is our next question. So we do SEO work. When we do SEO work, it is setting up in a slew of products. We use SEMrush, we use Google Analytics, we use Google Search Console, and then we use some industry specific things to understand more about your website, than is probably relevant for a conversation here. When you are hiring somebody to do SEO, if they're doing it well at this day and age, it's a pretty big lift. It is, like you said, it is not stacking a website full of keywords. When I started in this, everybody wanted to make dummy pages on their website that had like the name of your town and your literally slew of keywords. I hear that all the time is like, no, I need you to make me 10 dummy pages, fill them with keywords.
Yeah, I know.
Google's
I'm
helpful.
into the white hat SEO, Jonathan.
Google helpful content update came out. I guess it's been a year or two ago now. So if you do that, you are not only not helped, you are hurt on your website if you are only stacking for old tactics like that. I tell people, and this is my mantra, if you want to do SEO and you really want to go into a strategy of it, we need to be consistently creating content, consistently creating pages on your site that are optimized, and keyword optimization is only one part of it now. We need to be creating content that ends up helpful for your customers to answer questions. And I know I'm surprised we're an hour and a half into this conversation and AI has not come up yet. AI search, artificial intelligence search, large language models are really undoing a lot of the traditional ways. We really don't know where it's going to go. So the only thing we know right now for SEO on a basis that's stomachable for a small business owner, help your customers understand why they should buy, and create pages, create information on your website to understand you, to understand your product, and understand, what what you're getting for them, the emotional connection with art, all like that. Don't worry too much about SEO on a small business basis. Think about helping people find your website through social media. Think about pointing people towards your website to make those sales. Because even if we do embark on an SEO strategy, you know, industry's out. I keep hearing SEO companies telling customers, "Oh, it's going to be now." Now I'm hearing a lot of like 12 to 18 months, which is really convenient for an SEO company, to tell you that you should definitely pay them for a year before any results should be expected. Um, Create helpful content for your customers, and that will tend to be a really helpful way for you to, you know, help on the SEO side. If telling you anything else is blanket advice, to a large group of people, and it's hard to help on this big thing, but it all boils down to that. Get people on your website, help them understand why they should buy from you, and let them, you know, let them go through that process of emotionally connecting with you and getting all like that.
But
The-
should we put some keywords or something there? I mean, it shouldn't be zero.
You should
Should
explain
it?
what it is and what you do and where you do
Yeah, I
it.
mean, let people
But
know what your site is and what you offer.
yes,
Shouldn't that be in the keywords?
yes. But if
Nothing
you
fake, just the real stuff, what you really are selling. Like if I was a hardware store, I would mention my generators and some of the other things, you know?
sure, yeah,
That we should do, and I'm not sure exactly how that's done today. And it also, secondly, it used to be that after when you launched a website, and I launched a whole bunch of them, but the rules were completely changed. That you had to register with Google and Yahoo and that kind of stuff. And I can't tell if you're still doing that or not with new websites
so you do
or how.
verify through, so you do verify through Google Search Console for Google. However, in the documentation, they tell you that that's not essential. Your site still indexes without, and it always did. It always did index whether you did that or not. But with Google Search Console, and that might be a good place to start for you, is see what it's telling you to do website wise and make those changes.
Okay.
All that's telling you, all Google Search Console is telling you now, it's not helping or hurting you. It's only telling you how Google is perceiving your website and what is helping or hurting you in that way. That might be a good tool to start with. But
So it's like a checkup tool.
yes,
That's what it is. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, the SEO world, you know, to do it right is and actually I think Mark and I talked about that in Abingdon. It's really hard to give SEO advice these days because what was helping 5-10 years ago,
No,
can
it's
literally
zero.
hurt you now. And it's really not one size fits all. If somebody tells me they need to win on organic search, which is what SEO is, I'm making sure that they're doing a lot of other things for their business before we're going to care too much about an SEO strategy on the small business side.
Well, my only last comment would be that for me, I have to do it backwards because while I know that other stuff is the most important, I have an artificial limit on how much of the good stuff can be done. So I kind of need to ramp up on the weird stuff.
Yeah. And
But
time is, you know, time is money, and it sounds like you don't have a lot of
Yeah.
time. Thinking about doing more like advertising, advertising on Facebook, advertising on all the Meta owned stuff. So Facebook Threads, Instagram, or yeah, Facebook Threads, Instagram right now. If you can advertise on Meta, you can be spending $20 a week and getting way more website traffic to your, you know, to your site, than you will with an SEO strategy. So just thinking through, you know, is my time spent trying on SEO, or should I really just create an ad and plan to spend $20 a week getting clicks towards my website? And you can really start in that 20 to 50 range is a place to start on the small business side.
Is Facebook ads gotten better? I really had very negative experiences with them 10 years ago for my clients.
Yeah, I've always had positive experiences, but I think it's a buggy system and it doesn't always work. But once you get the ads running, you know, it's a cost-effective driver to the website for
Okay.
sure.
Thank you.
Yep. David, we had more. I don't want to skip yours since we talked about SEO. Do you mind raising your hand and asking your question? I'll circle back if you do. Yesenia, you raised your hand. Can I ask yours if you can ask yours. It looks like you were unmuted and then you muted. Let me go back into, I don't want, since everybody put stuff into the document, let me see any questions since we ran through everybody that is speaking and not having technical problems. We got a ton. There's like 5 different questions about self-promoting and promoting yourself and all like that. We talked a little bit about, so when we're promoting as artists, promoting in any creative work, the thing that's going to go on the wall or the actual product is part of the equation. You want people to have an emotional connection with that. But it seemed like we had a lot of questions on how to promote yourself and not feeling like you want to be self-promotional. But I think, especially in artists, in the artist world, and really I think across industries, people buy from people they like and people they like to work with. So don't be scared to jump on it and not be self-promotional. And yeah, Mark, jump in here. Jump in on that because I think there was like 5 different related to self-promoting.
Yeah, Jonathan, when I was at your conference earlier, I was surprised to find out about the need to promote the artists themselves. And, you know, because what I learned about marketing, you know, was about creating the emotional connection with the product that you're trying to sell and how critical that was. But then that's what you mentioned at that time though, was about how the people also need the connection with the artist, which I thought was very interesting. And because I know it's common, because even with my own photography and stuff, if I were to try to sell it or when I exhibit it, you know, the idea is that you want the art to speak for itself and to, you know, present its own case, and you want the people to connect with it directly as opposed to with you yourself, especially if you're a shy person. So anyway, yeah, I would love for you to expand on that like you did at the other seminar.
I mean, that's personal preference. So there's not a lot of rules in marketing, and I think in the art world we break rules, right? So again, with a grain of salt, but if I look at a photograph, and again, this goes back to, you know, why I don't love Instagram, because it's so saturated. If I see a picture, unless it's like absolutely astounding and I instantly connect with it, it's as good as the picture is. Like, you know, we're in a fall season. Fall foliage is only as good as fall foliage is. Looking out the window and driving, we're all getting, you know, bombarded with it. Until that photo is awesome, it might not stand on its own. And but on the flip of that, as commercial photographers, it might sell if you reach the right audience. I think it's really important to remember, and I think I touched on this at Abingdon. We're all competing against a bajillion people at all times. And nobody on here is the the best, the expert, the only one that somebody could pick for what they do. People pick you because they decided on you. And it's, you know, they want to work with you, the person, and all like that. And I, you know, personally, I never buy anything really, down to like the food I buy, without knowing the person. You know, I try to buy local. I try to, you know, buy food from farmers markets, and it's actually sitting on my porch here at the office because we have a farm share, and I can tell you the two people that grew it, they have a big staff, but I can tell you the two people that pulled the produce probably yesterday, and now it's sitting on my porch. I didn't go buy carrots at a farmer's market out of 12 people. And I, you know, at a farmer's market or at an expo, at an art expo where I can spend my $20 anywhere, I'm not going to walk around and necessarily pick the best art. I'm probably going to pick the person who made a connection with me at that show or at that farmer's market. I'm probably going to buy from the person who sold it to me, not that it stood on its own. And again, unless it's really evocative, really something that spoke to me like in that moment. And to me, I think across stuff, like that's pretty rare. Mark, anything with that?
Yeah, that makes sense. And so I think it would be useful, I don't want to go into a little bit of the branding and how the importance of, you know, like the artist statement and that sort of thing. But I see also that David has come back. He's got his
Yeah,
hand
let's jump into
raised.
David. We're talking about SEO.
And so you might jump back into the SEO, and then you could go into the personal branding.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I'm getting echo. Why am I getting echo? Well, and anyway, you answered my question with the previous woman. So I'm sorry, I left to go to a link, and then when I came back, I couldn't get back in, and now I'm using a browser-supported meeting to get in because the link didn't work right, and that's why it sounds like this.
I gotcha.
So anyway, you answered my question.
Okay. Yeah, the SEO stuff, again, I want to holistically build marketing strategies that build revenue, which turns into profit for a company. I want you to get website traffic in literally like a half dozen other ways while we are building an SEO strategy, if that is something that makes sense for you. SEO works long term, except that all of this may be upended in the next couple years. It's the fact of it. If you make a Google search right now, you're going to get a really bad AI answer that it probably is not factual. You are going to get 3 sponsored links if you're in a competitive business at all. And the SEO, what we've worked for years and years and years to get at that bottom, is almost below the fold. It requires scrolling in a lot of situations. So the SEO work we do, maybe we're feeding the AI, maybe not. And if you have competitors, they're going to beat you out on sponsored links. So the SEO world is weird right now. The only thing that you can do is consistently put helpful stuff on your website that again, just truly put yourself in the customer's shoes. What do I need to answer for the customers? What am I doing? With stuff we're doing for SEO right now, just to try to give you a hint, and kind of a place to go. Putting helpful testimonials on your site, explaining how to use your product and the 16 different ways somebody might use a product or service, we're putting content on websites that do that. That's helping customers make buying decisions. On the artist side, show where your art works. Put it on a wall, put it on a gallery, put it in a real customer's house, and show somebody else like, oh, I'd like this same thing on my wall or in my office or whatever like that. Build the brand equity before you really worry about SEO, because that whole industry is getting upended. the people that are doing it for 10 years are, they have momentum that starting out don't have. And it's a tough world right now with SEO. And I do holistically with marketing. When I talk SEO with companies, I want them to be doing 5 different things to get that traffic in the door, to get those sales before we're really worrying too much about SEO right now, just because, it's tough.
Well, I asked that question because I had no idea what SEO was when this started. I looked it up on Google while the meeting was going on, and that's why I asked it, because I think a lot of other people out there have no idea
Yeah.
what SEO is.
Yeah. Yeah. Search engine optimization as we know it, it is, as far as I like to talk about it, it is the searches that you are not, you as a company, you're not paying for advertising. It's the organic, which just means unpaid in this world. I know organic means a lot of different things. SEO is becoming a tougher and tougher thing, and we are holding on to old ways that don't necessarily make sense in this world, in marketing. And there's a lot of bad players in the world. I know with Mark, you've had a lot of success in your business over time with SEO, because I think you did it at a good time for your business, and you put a lot into it.
Yeah, and I started 20 years ago, and it was a lot easier, and it was a lot more simple, and Google wasn't pushing the advertising as much. When I started organic search, if you were number one in organic search, then you showed up number one, the first spot on the page, and then the ads were off to the side. But now the ads are the first few results, the paid ads. It can be up to 5 paid ads. So even if you're number one on organic search, you may have to still scroll down to a page or down below where you can't see it. You have to scroll before you can see the number one organic search result. So more and more it's becoming a pay-to-play proposition, and with a lot of competition.
Even just extending into personal, then I think I want to get back to that, the branding yourself. I'll just talk a little bit about my experience with that, and maybe we'll wrap up with that. But please I'd love the live Q&A. If you have questions, raise your hand and we'll get them. I even had a problem a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now, on the Google Business Profile. So we're talking search, but then there's Google Business Profile. That's this info box that if you want to try this, Google, like whatever local restaurant you have, they probably have a Google Business Profile. That's your Google reviews, your information, your hours of operation, a link to the website. For no reason that we can really ascertain. I had a client of mine, a friend of mine, loses Google Business Profile overnight. He got a true email, not a scam like we all get 1,000 times. That just said, your Google Business Profile has been removed. You can appeal this process, but it's gone. And he had 175-star reviews, very few others. He had great search presence because of that info box, and his business really did show up. And because he didn't, that's a space you don't own. That's a Google product that they can take away instantly. He lost that for a week and a half. He did the appeals process, and I prepared him for when that happens. It doesn't usually come back. Google tends to delete and not let it come back. And he was lucky. It came back. It took a week. The name came back, and the reviews came back like 7 days later. And just relying on SEO, relying on this billions of dollar company to be a builder of your business. It worked 20 years ago. It worked 10 and 5 years ago. It's not the same as it was. And it's a world that I'm working to prepare people for, and, learning as I go as well. And back to this, sorry. Cool. I thought somebody said something. What questions can I answer? We have about 20 minutes left. Raise your hand. what did you get out of this, and what what do you need, what do you still need to learn about marketing? How can we do more things like this and be a benefit to you? Mark and I and Jolie, we're here to help, and we're here to do all that. Francie, jump in. And anybody else, raise your hand and let us know. We want to be a benefit. We want to be a value.
Yeah. Almost, here we go.
I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I can't think exactly the words that I want to use, but are you representing a few artists, and have you had any fun improvements?
Yes, I have built a handful of e-commerce companies for artists. Generally, when I work with artists, and I don't know if it's just who I know in my network, I am almost always going to give them 1,000 pieces of free advice to let them bootstrap it for themselves, because I don't want to, what I do tends to have, I want to be a lot into a company. So for a construction company where I can sell roofs all day at 30 grand a pop, I can have a lot of impact. I want to help artists understand how to do it themselves and understand what they can do, to promote themselves and promote all like that. One of my best friends here, that I know a lot, I'm not helping him market through my company, through Aspire, although I'm helping with branding. I'm helping, with advice on, he's building an artist community, and we're a really rural place, where the arts are not exactly, have never been really promoted. And now he has 20 or 25 tables at events every month where artists are able to sell. So on the artist marketing side, while I have built e-commerce solutions that are selling, and really this is what I do with a lot of people, I want to give as much free advice until, the people that it worked for. And then it becomes really obvious to find a way for me to optimize from, an amount of revenue and amount of sales. And then once you have some traction, I can usually add fuel to that fire, but I kind of need the fire to start.
Got it.
And then Margie.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, again, it's Margie. And
Margie, sorry.
Hi, that's okay. I just wanted to thank you and everyone who has shared in this meeting, that you have talked about kind of going back to old school, mailing lists, email, and stuff like that. And I wanted to just tell other people who, if they're just getting started in their career as artists, every time you go to a show, every time you're out there, you keep a list, an email list, and you ask people for their emails. It's so important. I know over the years that I've been an artist, over 45, almost 45, I hate to say that, my colleagues, we would never encourage that. And so I encourage that. And I'm really excited now to getting back on track with all of this. And I wanted to just thank you all. Thank you, Jonathan, Mark, Jolie, and participants. And I wish you all the very best success. And I have to run because I have a client to meet. So take care.
Thank you, Margie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Renee.
All right, I'm back. Okay. You may have said this throughout, but I know you also mentioned it. What are the other things, or I felt like you said 5 things you would recommend we do for organic searches outside of SEO? Like, what are you recommending to that artist friend as how to drive traffic without going into the rabbit hole of SEO?
I'm writing it down and then I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
It's my normal spiel. And it's not just for organic. So organic search, as Mark was saying, where it is so much more pay to play, and they are literally putting sponsored ads as high up as they can and making them as relevant as they can. I am by and large not that worried about organic search at this point, because I think it's going to get upended, and on a medium to large size business, it is completely still relevant. You have enough people searching for what you do. You have enough broad traffic. You've built a brand for years to make it work. But on a small business side, I need you to start making money very quickly, because often we're going from zero to, I need this to start becoming an income for you, whether this is a side hustle or whether this is a full-time thing. When somebody comes to me for saying SEO, I really appreciate the person that said, I didn't know what SEO was when we started this, and I Googled it, and I do. Often people have misinterpretations of what SEO ever was. Or, you hear the acronym and have no idea what it is. All SEO is the organic, the unpaid searches on search engines. When somebody tells me they need that, I ask them, well, what's your real goal? The real goal tends to be sales and revenue, right? I can get you working towards sales and revenue by Facebook advertising. Tends to work really well. Again, Facebook is not dying as a platform in most places. I live in a weird bubble where it's like amazing to be on Facebook, but for the cost of doing anything else, spending $20 to $50 a week on Facebook advertising, tends to get you a lot of bang for your buck, a lot of traffic towards your website. If you tell me that you want more search presence, I make sure that you're doing in-person networking, trade shows, events. You need to be handing out, as old school as it sounds, you need to be face-to-face telling people what you do. We talk about, you need to tell somebody 12 times what you do. And that's just a sales mantra thing. Somebody needs to hear about you 12 times before you ever make a sale. If that wasn't true, Coca-Cola would not advertise on every street corner, billboard, restaurant forever. And Coca-Cola is a good example. You're buying a strange brown liquid. If you were just handed a cup of strange brown liquid and didn't know what Coca-Cola was, you would never drink that. But they have built a brand over so many years to understand what it means emotionally and all like that. There's a lot of artistry that goes into that side of advertising. We've touched on blog and newsletter a ton. Look into Substack, look into Ghost. If you are interested in the blogging and newsletter world and aren't started yet, I think that's a good avenue for people. Google ads are optional. You can pay to play. I want you to have some revenue before we do Google ads. I want you to be selling in other ways, because it's $20 to $50 a week is where I get started with Facebook ads. I need you to be at 20 to 30 a day on Google ads before I really think it's worth it. Google ads, because of how they're set up, are just pricier. They have value. They have a lot of value, but they tend to be a higher spend just by default. And then what we didn't get to touch on at all, and there's, a couple questions about it, just where your brand is. Are you communicating what it is that you sell? Are you doing this marketing kit, which is how Mark and I met? Do you have a mission statement? Do you understand what it is that you are selling to a customer? Does the customer understand why they should buy from me? Working on your branding and working on your brand message, maybe as a starting point, your foundation for marketing, make sure that you're confident in what you are selling before you ever get out, to all this nitty gritty. How do I advertise? What platforms? All like that. Make sure that you know what your brand is about. Me personally, I can talk about it pretty easily. The things I do, I build websites, I help people understand marketing strategies, I build marketing strategies for people, and I do multimedia work. I shoot photo video at scale with a team. I'm not the best at it, even in my region. I can name you the people that I think are better at me at video and photography. They're my friends because we're in a creative world. I'm not the best at any of that, yet people still come to me to do it because I care deeply. I don't want to sell people on stuff until they're ready. And the thing that everyone says about me and Aspire and and all this is I care about the community. So I had a chimney sweep and masonry company call me this morning, and he was like, "I need a website. I need this and this and this and this to market." And I was like, "All right, I don't think you're quite there yet. I need to meet you face to face and make that connection before I'm, convinced that we're going to work well together." So instead of selling it, I probably could have sold a website. I want to sell, I want to help people understand me, a personal connection. We're getting coffee next week before I really want to make sure that I understood enough to work with him. Because I don't, my brand is I want to make sure that I'm the fit for you. And if I'm not, I'm going to make a referral for solving Squarespace fulfillment problems today. That's going to be a person that we've been told we're competitors and we're not, because she fills a niche that I don't, and I fill a niche that she doesn't. Think about that brand and think about that brand affinity, and people will find a reason to work with you. If you do that right.
And Jonathan, I just wanted to, it's really about making a personal connection with people. I mean, I think that's the core essence of it. The bulk of my sales come from Facebook, and I don't post that often. I don't have the most followers, but it's making a connection with those people that do follow you. And, and that would be the same as with anyone who had a newsletter. That's your core audience. And I think because we've had so much technology and all these different social media platforms, it's gotten really confusing, but the core of it is you find a way to make a connection with your audience, and use your tips to figure out what is that audience.
Yeah. Everything we talked about in the last 2 hours is extremely nitty-gritty tactics of marketing, and that's what people want to talk about. But get to that personal connection first, build that affinity for people wanting to work with you first, and then use all this stuff that we talk about. And I mean, this is the same things you find online constantly and am bombarded with as a business owner. I talk tactics today in a big way, but build those connections with the real people you have. If you have an email list of 10 people, send them an email today. Ask how they're doing. Ask what you can do for them. Find a way to make those connections before we're worried about all these tactics. That's what we're here for. Cool. Last thing, if you guys can find a way, I am on every single social media platform, even Instagram. Even though I know I said I didn't like it. The biggest thing that I would really like to see from all the people on here, and I asked you a little bit about your business, but I want to know what you sell. I want to see your websites. I want to see what it is you do. Because I think I wrote down one person's website out of this. If there's a way you can let me know who you are, and start making those connections, because I want to know more about every single person I talk to today. So, find me on social media. I post a lot of helpful stuff like this on LinkedIn, but I'm on everything. So let me know. And it's Jonathan Roberts. Look for a profile picture that's running. That is usually the way I make connections with the world. Is the profile picture of Run Club, and Aspire will get you there as well. So,
Jonathan, when we post this video, we'll add in the contact information for you.
That'd be perfect.
And also I want to remind people too about our own blog at Frame Destination. And Jolie has posts on there and is often with her own art and what she's doing, what she's learning with selling her art. She's adding that into some of the blog posts as well.
Yep. So cool. Well, this was great. Pleasure. So every time it's like, oh, it's 2 hours, and then 2 hours goes by when we do these kind of workshops. So I really enjoy doing it. So I'm glad we could do Zoom, and at least 2 countries represented, probably more.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Jonathan, for coming in and doing this. And thanks again to our Frame Destination and Red River customers. You guys are the most important, and you are the reason that that our companies exist, and that that we're able to do things like this. And so, and this was just a way for us to give back and to help you guys the way that you were helping us. And so we really appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, take care, everybody.
Thanks.